What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video it seems like we finally got some good news to talk about it. And this is because the player's voice finally, after 1 month and a half, finally gave signs of leaving. And we have some news from their meetings with Copium. It seems like they had 2 meetings in the past month. Are these meetings going anywhere? I'm not sure. We're gonna cover all the topics that they talk about, and if there is any expectations that we can make out of this. Right now the game is at some serious problems, situations. We don't have enough gameplay, worse than ever before. They are taking away Alliance Wars, they took away Battle World, and the only thing we have left is Blitz. So the thing that people always complain about that they didn't want to do, it's the only thing we have now to do. Okay, so let's take a look at this news. So Zombie Juggernaut, you already have seen on the free claim that now you can get Zombie Juggernaut. That's nice, but I think you can only get Zombie Juggernaut after you have Black Knight and the other guy, Mr. Negative. I'm not exactly sure if it's the case or not, but it still limits your progress, right? This is a way to give you shards, but at the same time it's limiting your ability to obtain those shards. Stores the discussion continues. The need for a change in the many stores for the currency accumulation. This is going on for 7 years already. I think some ideas like Porkypad says that to convert some of your war credits or blitz credits or raid credits into gold and training materials, it would be a good thing, because after you finish your alliance wars or something, oh yeah, now I have these resources, let's spend it on obtaining more gold and trade materials. I think that's fine, but at the same time Copium has to introduce new methods of sinking those resources, gold and trading materials. So it's a double-edged sword. If we're gonna have more, for sure after we need more ways to spend them as well. But at least we have that dynamic of finishing the game mode specifically, like Alliance Wars, and use those credits to convert them into gold and use that gold. Now, in terms of the seasons, discussing on updating season rewards across the board. Raid rewards right now are absolute trash. The war rewards are okay. We are getting some Hercules orbs from there, so it's not the worst. But the raid rewards are really terrible. In terms of Blitz or what other game modes do we have? Crucible, I guess. Crucible, we have the Dark Diamond credits, and that's the only thing of value there. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter, because you get those Dark Diamonds and you have nowhere where to spend them on, right? We still can't obtain Old Man Logan diamonds. We can't obtain diamonds for Mephisto, diamonds for the Shadow King. So that's another problem, right? Is that it's so scarce when we get these Dark Diamond credits, and at the same time we don't get enough, and on top of that we don't obtain many Dark Diamonds. So I'm not really sure if there is a good way to fix these, but yeah, definitely needs to change some of these season rewards, specifically raids. Raids right now is really terrible. In terms of purple isolate, while we understand the scarcity of this resource, we need, yeah, so the problem with the purple isolate is that we just have way too many requirements, right? There was the requirement for Frozen Dimension, and then we had a requirement for the Escape from Kiln, and we also have multiple characters coming at the same time. And if you are still going through Dark Dimension 8 or so, and if you're not completing those milestones with your alliance, then of course you're gonna have very low amount of purple isolate. Right now for me, I have around 4 million, and I have most of my characters with purple isolate, so for me specifically it's not a big problem. But I can imagine for players that are not so high in game, this is definitely a problem, and especially going for Dark Dimension 8. With the introduction of Dark Dimension 9 and the fact that purple isolate level 4 and level 5 are on the way, maybe they will make this less of a problem. But it's always going to be a problem. The ions and the isolate itself, it's always a problem. And if you go to 4 and 5, instead of requiring 9, we're gonna require 81, which is much worse, right? In terms of Knull, we know there is a concern and the people watching calendars comparing when we were supposed to unlock Knull. We were supposed to unlock Knull around this time if you are on a top alliance, so within a few weeks Knull should be unlocked. And it's not only a problem that comparing the calendars between now and what we were supposed to get. The problem is that Knull, in terms of a character, is already getting outdated. His stats, his mechanics, seasons come and go, and this means that the value you were supposed to have, he no longer has, right? And other characters like symbiotes, the more the time goes onward, the less value symbiotes have because they have the old stats, right? So multiple problems with Knull not being available yet, and it's gonna be another character that will be dead on arrival. And after, what it needs a massive rework on Knull by itself to make sure that he has individual value, but also to the other symbiotes and Spider-Verse characters that relate with him. So Knull, also a huge problem. I hope they have this into consideration and not just the fact that when we were supposed to unlock it or not. Battleworld Player Council has been discussing Battleworld returns and the changes Copium has been making. We have seen some of those changes on the data mines. I'm a little bit concerned that Battleworld is still one time per month. Maybe they should do like I don't know, maybe, okay, one time per month, but every week you have a zone and make it like somewhat interesting or difficult or anything like that. I'm not really sure. I was not super disappointed with Battleworld. I had some fun with it. I just felt like it should be more difficult, but then if it's super difficult, it's going to require more screen time. They are trying to reduce the screen time, but not in a good way. So, oh man, the game is really all over the place. Alliance Wars, regular discussion on ways to keep players who love Alliance Wars happy while making easier for the players that don't like war. Improvements on tools for leadership. So I'm an Alliance leader, I do the recruiting, I do the counters for Alliance Wars, I do the defense setups, I do all these things. And we don't need more tools. We need the mythical characters, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. We need to be the mythical characters, they need to be nerfed on defense. They're just way too strong. And I understand that people want value out of the Dark Dimension characters that they have. But that's why you have the offense. It's to use them on offense. And I'm not a big fan of what's going on right now. Like having Odin and Super Skrull and Mephisto and all this nonsense all together in 1 or 2 rooms makes it very, very difficult. And once again, as an Alliance leader, people don't want to suck. People want to feel like when they attack, they do some meaningful progress. And right now, with all these characters, is just a problem. And on top of that, we have powerful teams like Absolute Force, Liberty, and so on, that because of those mythical characters, those teams have to be nerfed, because when the developers make a team, they are not taking into consideration, or they should not. That's the point that a lot of people don't get. The developers should not take into consideration the fact that you can plug and play Mephisto or Odin or Skrull there. That should not be part of the time they require to balance the team. And that's why a lot of teams are not that good, because they already are expected to use those characters, right? And this is why I say that mythical characters on defense and the teams that are together with them should be heavily nerfed, so the developers don't have to waste time with this extra balancing, and at the same time making sure that when you are attacking, that you are making meaningful progress, which once again, it's not what's happening right now. In terms of Dark Promotion credits, Start Time and credits, Council has been flagging heavy costs of older characters. Yeah, sure, they can reduce the characters like Red Hulk or whatever else. In my opinion, they should not actually change the cost. They should just increase the amount of Dark Diamond credits we have, or make sure that those characters have some value, right? Like, I'm not gonna spend Dark Diamonds on Red Hulk or Morgan Le Fay if they are out of the meta, right? So why would you invest on them? So this is not really a serious situation, but with reworks, the characters come back. Like the fact that, oh, should we reduce the cost because the character is 1 year old? That's a bad thing. Like if the character is 1 year old and it's a legendary character, and if it still didn't have the rework or something like that, I think that's way more concerning. It's not the price that matters, because you're gonna use it where? On Blitz? Like, so that's meaningless in my opinion. Age of X, more information about what's coming very soon. This is probably with a new team coming to the game, the Star Jammers or Space Jammers or NBA Jammers or whatever Jammers, probably just jam to put in your bread, I don't know, but that team looks very powerful. Is it gonna be a legendary team? We don't know for sure, but the kits are pretty much insane, and based on that, based on the fact that that team should show up in March, or at least at the end of March, then yeah, for sure that you're gonna have some information soon. That's pretty obvious. New content features. Multiple new elements were discussed, teased. So I guess this was teased to the player's voice. While it's easy to say despairing comments about the decline of the game, which it's the reality, it's in the eyes of everyone who wants to see, there are multiple things in the works to suggest that Scopely is still very much invested in the game's success. Yeah, but I mean, for example, moments. We were supposed to get moments last year. Last year with Battle World. Moments was part of Battle World. And moments was not delivered. Battle World was kind of delivered, but in a bad way. And we don't know anything about these new features. Like, it's very interesting for you to make like these vague statements, but at the same time, it adds up to nothing, right? So if you really have nothing to show, and you are just saying this, you just, I don't know, trying to create some fake hype or something. At least with moments, we saw something. And that's the problem. We saw something like years and years ago, or months and months ago, 1 year and a half ago. And since then, we have not seen anything. So I would like to see something more consistent so people can actually be a little bit hyped about it. We continue to work with them and try to make the new features, game modes and characters appealing to the player across the board and mindful of different spending habits and styles. Features, game modes and characters. The only things that we have seen so far is characters. New characters, we have a new character every 8 days or so. The character release was around 10 days, sometimes even 12 days. We are back to the same bullshit that we had in the past. 8 days for a character is just way too much. I have been tracking this, and yeah, it was reduced the amount of time. It was a character every week, then they increased it because we made a big fuss about it, but they are back to their old ways of one character almost every week and 1 or 2 days or so. And it's not a big problem because we have a decent amount of gold, we have a decent amount of training materials at the end game, but that's all we have. It's just characters. The changes to Crucible are okay. That's the only thing that is holding the game right now. It's just Crucible. In terms of Alliance Wars, it's still a trash game mode, let's be honest. The changes they made with the seasons are just not impactful enough to change the meta by any means, to add any conversation to the community. So yeah, and which other features are we talking about? Like, is this the moments? Is this something else? I'm not sure. But like I said, as an alliance leader, tools, whatever, that's not the way to fix it. I really doubt that they will come up with ways to make sure that we have counters for over 1,000 entries on spreadsheets for alliance wars and so on. And if you really think this is normal, well, it's not normal. It makes no sense that you have to use a guidebook of 1,000 entries to play alliance wars. At least I don't feel like that should be the case, and it doesn't incentivize us any kind of theory crafting. You just are plugging one thing into the hole, right? You have the triangle, you put in the triangle hole, you have the circle, you put in the circle hole, and that's pretty much it. But anyway, those are the news from the player's voice. I'm not sure if there is anything of value here, but you guys let me know in the comments below if there is any topic that I mentioned here that you're like blown away. Wow, amazing news, right? I don't see it, but maybe you guys see something. And that's going to be all for now, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. And if you found the video helpful, make sure you share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more MSF first content. And I will catch you guys later.